Hello there. You are in for the treat of your lives. It is fall, and we had a lot of tricks for the year in 2020, don't you think? I certainly do. Welcome to ZTB's Buzzworthy. I'm Allison Preby, and you will not believe that I have one of my favorite people, Miss Claire Schwab of Claire Schwab Interior. And Claire, I just welcome you to Buzzworthy. Thank you so much for being on the show tonight.
Thanks for having me. I'm so happy to be here. Happy
Now,
fall.
I know, and you're
My
gonna let
favorite
me start
season.
putting out Halloween stuff soon, aren't
I
you?
am yes, I love sharing space with you in our store in Old Town, and I think it is time to start putting pumpkins and ghosts and goblins out.
Yay!
I even bought a fall wreath today.
Oh my goodness. Well, I wanted our viewers to know that we work very closely together. We share a space in South Alexandria over on South Washington Street in the former Williams Sonoma. And Claire and I have been working together through this exciting pandemic, and we have been bringing some great interiors and some really neat designs into the Old Town community. And, as we've gotten the chance to work together, I've gotten to learn a lot more about you and a lot more about interior design. And I wanted you to tell the viewers how you came to doing this amazing profession.
Oh, I love what I do. It's such a gift. I certainly did not go to school for this. When I walked onto the Vanderbilt campus in Nashville, I wanted to be, oh gosh, I think I wanted to be a doctor like my dad, and then I think I wanted to be a mathematician. Oh my God. That was very short lived. I studied so many things in the Arts and Science College, and after I graduated, I went to London and had a visa to work there and got a job at the Laura Ashley store. And this is such a great story because in London, a lot of people decorate themselves. They don't hire designers and decorators like they do here in America. And I was on the floor helping people with their projects if they did have questions, but I was also in charge of inspecting all of the things that came into the store for the home furnishings. So I was seeing balloon shades, we don't make those anymore, Roman shades, draperies, pillows. And as a seamstress, because I sewed my whole life growing up, I was seeing how these things were made and I thought, I can do that. I can do that. So after my visa was over, I came back to Alexandria and I was working as a trade director of communications and worked at the Laura Ashley store in Old Town. And the beautiful thing about this story coming full circle is that the Laura Ashley store was two stores down from where yours and my shop is right now. So I just feel like all of this has come full circle, and that was 32 years ago. So I went to the Laura Ashley store and I said, I have a full-time job here, but I'd love to help you all with any of your clients who have needs, and I sew and I have experience with your company. And that is how I started my business. And that is how I formed my client base. And I decided this is what I wanted to do for a living. So I went back to school and I got another degree and became certified and licensed. And the rest is history. So I've loved having this job. It is my passion. I grew up in a home that was decorated, and I have a grandfather who was an antiques and furniture dealer. And it's in my blood. And I love the people I've been able to meet and the people I've been able to help. And it's different every day.
Now, I didn't know that about you. I knew that the Laura Ashley was right there, but I can't believe I realized that. That's really cool.
I know, two stores down, right?
We need to get some shoulder padded dresses. We need to find some things on eBay.
The rompers, those big what did they even call them? Everything hit right here and then made you look pregnant, even if you were 12 years old.
I was thrilled to see you in one of those dresses.
I know. Trust me, I had plenty.
Halloween's right around the corner.
Oh my gosh. I could be a Laura Ashley model.
One thing that people might not know, there is a difference between an interior decorator and an interior designer, isn't there?
That's right. That's right. I'm not uptight about the title. I'm an interior designer because I have a degree and because I'm certified and licensed. Anybody can be an interior decorator. It's a very loose title that just means you have a talent in decorating. But I think to honor our profession and for the people who hire us for the more skilled things like reading floor plans, working with a contractor, an electrician, doing full-scale renovation work, being able to work with architects, there's just a different level of schooling. So when I introduce myself, I actually say I'm an interior decorator because I just feel like it might be a little less intimidating, but it's really it's a skill set. I very rarely do I meet people who are uptight about the title. So
well, you are so gracious
I'll take
and
either one.
all. That's one of my favorite things about you. That's why I love working with you so much. And I see are you in the store right now?
I'm actually in my home studio. So I have
You have all of that at your home too?
Oh, I know. Well, you see half of it in our store. So our space is so cavernous and it's so nice to be able to get all these fabric samples there. But then I squirreled and kept a few here. So when I'm working on a project, I can have it here. So I have the lower level of our house in Mount Vernon. And it's a nice studio. I have a little sewing area. I have a storage area for clients who aren't ready to receive accessories or furniture in their home yet. And it's really nice because when we built this home 20 years ago, we built a separate entrance in the back. So staff and helpers and workers can come down there and not interrupt the house. So we have lots of space, lots of catalogs, and it's a great place to meet clients because we can spread everything out on this big table where I'm sitting right now and just pour things onto the table and work their project.
Well, I think you collect fabric books the way I collect shoes, Claire.
Oh my gosh. And purses, be honest.
It's true. It's true.
I'm right behind you.
Well, I really enjoyed being with you today. We got to do some shooting in the store, and we, Claire and I, we work very closely together, so we're able to, not wear our masks when we're working closely together. Of course, when the store is open, we both are masked up, but we had the chance to sit down, and I think we should let our viewers think about some questions that they have for us and also take some time to watch what we shot today. It's riveting, don't you think?
I think riveting, yes. We're happy to.
I am delighted to be here with one of my favorite people on the planet, Miss Claire Schwab of Claire Schwab Interior. Claire and I are lucky enough to get to work together on a regular basis, but we don't get to sit down and chat about important things like home decor nearly enough for me because, it gets so busy. So I'm thrilled to have this opportunity. Thank you, Claire.
I'm glad to be here in our store that we have been sharing together since December, and it's fun to be able to share some trends and some helpful tips with all of our viewers and listeners. So thank you for doing this with me.
Well, I find you fascinating.
I know.
And so I am wondering, what is it like to be such a well-known and well-regarded interior designer? What are some of the favorite parts of your job as you're helping people get their homes ready here in the Alexandria, Northern Virginia area?
We live in a wonderful town. We have a very thriving, booming economy, I think, as far as decorating goes. People are very interested in entertaining here, and they love their home. They like things nice, and the pandemic has actually been good for us. I mean, it's sad that we're having to go through it and all that's happening, but it's been wonderful for home decor. So what I think I love most about it is helping people and meeting people. Every single day in my job is a different day. Where I go, what traffic I get in, who I meet, people I know, and people I get to meet through other clients and friends I get to help. So it's a very rewarding job. And then to be creative at the same time, and then in my case, which is so true of most residential designers, to be your own boss, to set a schedule. And I have 3 children and a very busy social and volunteer schedule, so it's nice to be able to carve time out and balance, or at least try to balance, all those components of my life.
Well, you do a great job.
Oh, I try.
It's wonderful to watch you. Now,
Oh.
as you're working with some of your clients, how do you help ascertain their personal style? How do you, because everybody's styles are so different.
They are so different. And I have so many people who come to me either because they've seen my work in someone's house or they've been in our store and they like the aesthetic they see here. Sometimes they know, and I always tell people, tell me what you like as much as what you don't like. It's all very helpful. If people say, I saw so-and-so's house and I love what you did there, but I prefer more blues and yellows. That's so concrete. That's so easy to work with. Or they tell me they have a lot of things they want to keep that they already have, but they just want to add a few more things. Like they want to add some pillows or a rug or change out their window treatments. It's easy to back into that. I think the more challenging projects are when people either buy a new house or they do an addition or they want a redo, and that's what we're really seeing now. And I know it's because people are home more. People are looking at their homes, they have Zoom in the background, they're in their house more than they ever have been, and they're realizing how tired things have become. And we've gone through a huge shift in home decor, I'd say, over in the past even 10 years. I mean, and brown furniture, which they're calling it now. I mean, that's the perfect example.
I said, Claire, I'm going to ask you about brown furniture, which I love.
We all do. I mean, we grew up with it. My grandfather was an antiques dealer. My house is half antiques and half new brown furniture.
I read an article and it said brown is bad.
I know.
Claire, is brown bad?
Oh, it's so hard to answer that. I love all the creative finishes that are out there. I would say antique brown furniture is wonderful, and we should hold on to it. We should treasure it. We should oil it up and make it special and make it look like we're grounded and have some sort of history about us.
So pieces that are 100 years or older, or how do you is that how you define
right?
antique
And
is?
there's some bad antiques out there. I think it's really what piece is special to you or has meaning. Chairs in particular, we can recover chairs, and one of my favorite tricks is when someone has a piece they really love, but the stuffing is bad, or the springs are shot, or the fabric on it is, 70 years old and it smells of smoke and dog or whatever. We have great refinishers, we have great reupholsterers, we have great artisans who can take that special piece and fix up the frame and give it a facelift, or just change out the upholstery with something a lot more current, but still respect the piece. Mm-hmm. So that's what we've really been doing a lot. And I've had so many people say, what are you doing during COVID more than anything? Recovering. And I love that because people aren't throwing furniture out. They're stripping it and they're refinishing it or they're recovering it. My upholsterers are so busy right now. So it's a nice trend to see. But back to the question of what people are looking for and ascertaining their style. What I tell people when we come into a meeting together is pull out any magazine clippings that you have, things that you like, and we can put it together. It's how people really do clothing. They pull out. At least I do. I pull things out of J. Crew. I pull things out of Anthropologie. I pull things out of Nordstrom or Garnet Hill, and I try to put them together. And that, to me, is the seamstress in me, because I sewed my whole life growing up, and I made my clothes, and then I made my curtains and my bedding. And you can take a little component of this and that, and then you can mix it to be your own style. You and I are very
technological, but I know Pinterest is also a great thing for people to use.
Pinterest is great. Pinterest is really, my older clients, I would say my clients who are 45 and above don't use Pinterest. They're tactile. They're paper, they're magazine tear sheets, they'll send me things on the internet. It's my 20, 30, early 40s.
You work with people in their 20s?
I know. Good for them, right?
Oh, yeah.
We've trained them well to hire a designer from the very beginning.
Brilliant.
But those are the ones who send me the Pinterest boards, and we send them back, and it works out well. Once we grab that aesthetic that they like, then we can just show them choices, and then we can take over from there and put it all together. I think what's hard is when the husbands have one idea and the wives have another, or even boyfriend, girlfriend. We have a couple of clients like that, and I can tell from the very beginning of meeting them we're going to have issues, and how are we going to decide? So I come in with a referee shirt. I actually have one, believe it or not. I've worn it a couple of times for fun. And you just have to compromise. And that's where I feel like I have to be a psychologist, I have to be a designer, I have to be a project manager. Most of the time it works out. And I can be the comic relief, or I can be the referee to come in and say, now remember, you got this one, so now it's her turn. She gets that.
Oh, I guess having the 3 children helps with that kind of diplomacy.
I think it does. Or we make pillows, and we'll make forms for the spring and the summer, and pillows for the winter and the fall, and make everybody happy.
Now, what is the most popular room that
Oh,
you tend to do? I mean,
easily.
Tell me.
Family room.
Okay.
I think people want to spend money in their family room more than anything because it's manageable. You know, you can do a little bit or a lot, and we have ways that we can freshen up a family room if they're on a tight budget. There are also ways that you can just, start fresh. But again, like I said earlier, recover or use furniture and paint it, or, like even this table. If somebody said, I love this table, but I don't have any gold in my house, we could order this in a brushed silver, or a wrought iron. So it's helping people think outside of the box. And a lot of times people only know what they see. They only like what they can see. And I think one of the benefits of a designer is sharing our exposure of everything we know that's out there. Because I went to 6 stores today. I shop all day long, whether it's in fabric stores or antique stores or rug stores or lighting stores or accessory stores. And I know what's out there. And you can just say, don't worry, I know you don't like blue, but we can get that pattern in this color, or we can get this finish, or we can get this base with that top. So
how many clients do you typically work with at the same time?
Well, it depends on how many people I have working with me. Right now my design team is 3, and I'd like it to be a little more because COVID has brought us a lot of business, which is a good blessing. I really try not to have more than 20 at a time.
What? You can do 20?
Well, some people are smaller than others. I have some files that are this thin, and they just need a lot of guidance. And then they check in with me every now and then. And then I have probably 4 or 5 projects right now that are a little more daunting, shall we say. But they're patient, and thank goodness for internet and texting and emails, so we can hopefully keep up to speed. Everybody has been very patient during COVID.
Well, you're worth it.
Why, thank you. I'd like to think I come through.
Now, how is it, to afford you and your design services? I know you've talked to me about some of the budgets you work with. Can you tell our viewers about?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of designers out there who have minimums. I think when you have a retail store, you have an obligation to the public to help them. You need to help anyone who comes in, or you shouldn't have a store. I love helping people just make pillows. That's easy. It's fun to put it together. They're happy, you're happy. They've spruced up their room and given it a little a touch of new color, and they're happy, and then you hope that they come back. And then there are people who want to do a whole house, or want to do an addition and a room. So what we try to do is construct a budget method where we allow enough for accessories or lighting, for instance. For me, when people want to spend, they say, I only have $10,000, for example, to do a room. I have to go back to my office and really break that down to make sure we are allowing for shipping and delivery, that we are allowing for my design contribution to it. We include all of our discounts, of course, but what makes me so sad is when we push the budget so far that we don't have time to really finish it, to polish it. And I would rather someone buy just 2 chairs and hold on a sofa, but do those 2 chairs really well with a nice lamp in between them and paint on the walls, and then have a plan to implement more down the road. It doesn't have to happen all at once. We have to be patient, and we certainly work with people's budgets and help educate them on what things cost. And I think that's that's you and I have talked about this before when we've had some lulls in our shop, is you can spend money on certain things and not others. There's what I do is educate people on seating, for instance. Like the seating that you're going to have in the family room is where you should put your money, because you're on it, your dog is on it, your kids are on it, you lie on it, you sit on it, you spill on it, you eat on it, you watch TV on it. And then there's the chair in the living room that's never going to get sat on, except maybe twice a year. There are, lamps like this where you can really, where people notice it and you can put money into it, but maybe not so much an accessory on your coffee table. You may want to change that out. So we try to steer people towards what their use in their house is going to be and where they should put their money for quality.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
And I was hoping that with some of the things that we have in the store, that you could help to show our viewers some of the ways they can make some easy improvements in some of your favorite pieces.
Oh, I have a lot.
Yes.
Oh, goodness gracious. I have to say my favorite accessory, this is the seamstress in me, you can tell, is a pillow. You can spend $100 on a pillow. You could spend $400 on a pillow. Oh, we don't have a lot of those. But to me, one of the things I really like to guide my clients into buying is a very neutral sofa, a solid sofa. It's the biggest piece of furniture in any room, maybe aside from a piano or a break front. And if you do a solid neutral sofa that's comfortable and soft, you can change the pillows. You can change the lighting. You can change a throw that you put over in cooler seasons. And if you don't like it, then you can make easy changes as opposed to recovering. A sofa can cost between $1,000 and $2,500 to recover. Mm-hmm. Much easier to change a pillow. I love lamps, and I think that lighting has really come a long way in the past 10 years. The choices are much more creative now, and it's a layer of design a lot of people overlook. We all know that we need lights here, but when we go in a home now, we are very mindful of assessing recessed lights, chandelier lights, where the dark corners are, and the room needs to balance.
I have a design tip that I learned.
Yes, tell us.
I want to ask you if this is correct. That most inexpensive way that you can really add ambiance to a room would be a dimmer switch.
Oh, dimmers on everything. That should just be good for you, darling. That should just be a golden rule. All of your switches should be on dimmers.
Okay.
And we all know this, especially living at the latitude line where we do. It changes during the year. Our winter 5 o'clock is very different from our summer.
If they're going to tell them one inexpensive tip,
dimmer switches. Yay!
That's good. Well, I can't wait for you to show us some of these pieces. And we also really need to talk about transitioning. The seasons have just changed this week.
That's right.
So let's take a look at some of your favorite pieces for you to show us. And we can talk about how to transition from summer now into autumn.
Love that.
Claire, I could just listen to us talk forever. We are fascinating.
We talk a lot.
Don't you think we're interesting?
Never a dull moment.
Never a dull moment. Now, one of the things I said to you a couple days ago, as we were doing some new displays in the store, was that you have such, obviously, an amazing design aesthetic, that I tend to be of the more is more category. And I constantly will say, please help edit me. Please, I get so overwhelmed. Claire, how do you deal with clients, much like this special case here, who tend to get overwhelmed?
Easy to do. And there's so many choices out there. And I feel like the stores, especially in metropolitan areas, are so accessible to people, and they sometimes get very excited and sometimes don't know when to stop. We have the Design Center, we have Home Goods, we have so many wonderful boutiques at our beck and call, and then the internet, which is a blessing and a curse. I have always been of the opinion that less is more, and I would prefer fewer bigger things than more plentiful, smaller things. And I like a lot of space. In our business, we call it air. I'd like to have a lot of air between things so that you actually appreciate them and see them. And then that leads into some really important design elements for me, which are proportion and balance. So, like if you really love a piece and you find it and you want to set it apart from other things, you're not going to crowd it with other things. Like you wouldn't wear 5 rings on your hand, you'd wear 1 ring on your hand. You want to give it a lot of you want to give it a lot of air. You want people to notice the 1 ring. You wouldn't put 6 chandeliers on your ceiling, you would put 1. Or if you have a really long table or a kitchen island, you do 2. So I am always trying to make people feel confident that you can go bigger with whether it's a light or a piece of furniture or a sofa or a table, like a coffee table. I think confidence can stifle people and can keep them from making the kind of decisions where if you would just not do as many things, but do fewer things and bigger things, then you would be happier. And the design would look more confident. It would look more planned, and you would notice things more. Objects more. I say things, I mean objects. So
well, I need you to help me work with that more because
I will. I love that you were open to it.
In theory, in actuality, I remember when they were teaching us how to put on makeup as, high school girls, and they said you pick a big lip or a big eye. And me being the Dolly Parton loving gal, I thought, why do I have to pick? I'm going to do my lip. I'm going to.
She's a whole lot of woman.
And sequins.
Yeah, that's right. You pick one or the other, and then you notice one.
With me on that, Claire, and that's why it's such a delight to come into our space because of what you have done in there. And
thank you.
We've got this beautiful Williams Sonoma that you've made into such a serene place. And I'd like to say that some of my gems help to dress it up, but really it's you and your aesthetic. And I think it's time that we show some of the viewers a little bit about the amazing things that we have in there. Did we have a little fun doing old school show and tell today, or what?
That was fun. It has been a long time since I've done show and tell.
I know. I think we should do that every day. Something fun and new. But it was important for me, I asked you the other day how we transition from, summer into fall. A lot of girls were saying they weren't ready for fall just yet, but I think now is appropriate the time. I think officially calendar we're there. Mother Nature's not necessarily cooperating, but I did see leaves on the ground today, so I think
that helps.
Feel
right,
it.
and you bring up a very important point, and this is how you and I cross-pollinate so well in our store. We in the home industry look to fashion. And when we talk about trends and what we're seeing as far as colors or lines or whether it's texture or pattern, we look to fashion. Fashion is the most trend-forward indicator. And then home decor follows, and the colors transcend into what we're doing in our home. And then we see it in our cars, which is interesting. So that is kind of a trend that you learn. It's fashion, home, and then cars. So where we are kind of nestled in the middle of that is, I always tell people when they're not sure what color scheme they want to go with, how do you dress? What colors make you happy? What colors do you gravitate toward in Nordstrom or Macy's or wherever, Lord & Taylor, wherever you shop or online? Those are colors that make you happy and you're comfortable with. Those are colors we should work with in your home.
What do you do when you're the horse of a different color? Like right now, I'm feeling Kelly green. I don't see Kelly green anywhere.
You don't. That's tough. That's where we go to rugs and art. Those are our fallbacks. Or if somebody says, I just want purple. That's a tough one. So I'm wearing black right now because I'm trying to be very neutral.
Well, I like that. And I think it's time we show our viewers how they can dress up their home as they take it from the spring and summer into fall and winter. So let's take it away.
So one of my favorite parts of school was show and tell. So I am thrilled that I get you to show us and tell us about some of these wonderful home decor items as we're transitioning out from summer into the fall months. So tell us, how can we update our look?
This right here is a very basic sofa I was describing earlier that is solid. It's a texture. This is probably my favorite color. It's very restful, and when we come home, we just love to not have something busy, right, lounge. It's like a spa, it's like the ocean. It takes me to happy places like the beach. One of the things we did with this sofa to kind of ground it, because it is a lighter color, if you'll notice down here, I did a heavier nail head. Instead of the little tiny ones that a lot of people are used to, they are much larger, and we spaced them apart. So the larger size is nice, but then the space in between gives it just a little bit of air, so it doesn't feel too heavy. So great in the summer, right? Nice, beachy, airy, great texture on the pillows. I usually put the pattern pillows in the back so they're not too prominent. But now it's fall, and we're thinking pumpkins and fire pits and wineries. So let's just show you what the difference is here. These are pillows that you could even use the same pillow forms if you're low on space or short on space. And instead of having pillows, you could just change the covers over. And we could make pillows for you that are the same size for the different seasons. So see how you can do that? That still goes. Totally fun look for winter. Things like this could be switched out. These are planters, and we're changing out our orchids, or we're changing out some of our live plants in our house. And you could turn it over to green. This is a little big for this table, but it's one of the things we have in the store right now. So now we have this wonderful, inviting look for fall. The dark colors, the black. I love a little touch of black. It's a very grounding color. I grew up in the South, and they always say every room should have a touch of black. But when you think about like fireplaces, TV screens, those are all black. And then you could top it off with a throw. This is a cashmere throw with a beautiful fringe on the end, light, but also very inviting, and it just makes you want to curl up. So there's more of a winter look.
Oh, that's great. And that was pretty easy. Even I
Oh,
can
yes.
handle something like that, Claire.
And, and very affordable. So winter, we welcome you.
Now, after watching that, there was something that I thought of that I did not ask you earlier today. And I think it might be a little controversial, Claire. I don't mean to put you on the spot. But how do you feel about jack-o'-lanterns and ghosts and turkeys? And we are adult women. I know sometimes when you have small children, that kind of stuff may be fun, especially what they're doing with, preschool and this and that. But I don't know what. My daughter's a senior in high school, and you are
so funny.
Her
You
pumpkin
love your holidays.
put it away.
I know. I love it. I have this one friend. Her name is Jane. She lives in Fairfax. I seriously think she has a separate house for all of the holiday decorations that she must rotate through her house for Easter, for Thanksgiving, for Halloween, for 4th of July, for Christmas. I embrace all that. I think that's so special. And I know my children have always said, wait, Mom, where's the such and such decoration? Or where's that wreath? Or, so I love all of that. I think we should embrace that, and we should definitely intersperse that in our home for the season. Just don't go crazy.
I know. She's a neighbor. She walked in, and she saw all of my Christmas stuff out, and she burst out laughing.
Oh, honey. But it's an expression of who you are, and that's what's so important about design.
I'm trying to edit, Claire.
Oh, no, you're good. I'm glad we are talking about this, because I think one of the most complimentary things people could say about me is that it doesn't look like Claire. I would love for someone to come into their home and say, Emily, this really looks like you, or Susie, how beautiful. Did you work with anyone or did you do this yourself? Because that to me is success, that I listened to the client and I did what they wanted, and it was an expression of their design, that I didn't come in and tear everything apart and send everything away. I want it to be their house. It's not my house. And when we work with people and they shake their head and say, I don't think I like that, I say, that's fine, because this is not my house. This is your house. So if you love to decorate for Halloween, I wouldn't say go crazy, but I would just say make it your own. You're going to be living in that house and you're going to be spending time in that house, and I won't be there. So I want you to love it. That's what's important.
Have you ever had to go to the mat with a client where you felt one way and you just were as sure as you could be?
Oh my goodness, like when they love that double top stitch black leather sofa with the, oh my gosh, yes, there have been a few things, and I joke and I just say, so how important is this piece to you? And I will tell them, I'm sorry, that is not worthy of my website. But then I remember my website.
No, you don't. You really think that? That's not worthy of my website.
I'm teasing. I'm totally teasing. We work around it. And I just, of course, I'm going to ask the hard questions, and I'm not going to tell them what I want to hear. I'm going to be honest with them. So we can repurpose things. We can move things to the basement, or we can move things to a second home. Or we can donate them with a tax write-off. No, I'm teasing. But I feel like a lot. No, but I feel like a lot of times people are if they're going to spend the money and they're going to go through this process, they want to do it right, and they want to make sure that they're, doing it properly and making sure everything fits together.
As they should. They should listen to you. You know best.
I'm kind. I will negotiate and I will compromise, but I am honest. That is for sure.
You're very diplomatic, and you always make people feel so good and so special. It's wonderful, Claire, to be in your aura.
Oh, I love being in your aura too. We have a lot of fun. We're blessed. We are.
We are blessed. And, a lot of people are getting to know each other very well again during COVID. People are home together more than they've ever been. Mm-hmm. I can't wait to hear how many COVID babies come out of this. When I won't have babies that I'm aware of, but
we'll know soon enough.
We are seeing people work from home, and one of the things that we got to do today was really interesting, was to show people how they can use their home for office and school, yes, and as well as reclaiming it for the home.
Right. It is a challenge. I don't think we've ever used our homes as much as we have today in the last year. It is a classroom. It is an office. It's a conference room. It's a boardroom. It's an exercise studio. I mean, in this home alone.
Some of us.
Oh, come on, girl. You got it. I mean, I've done yoga, Pilates, boot camp. I have 3 children who were all at home in school. We've been cooking. It's our restaurant. It's our bar. It's Ted's office. It's my office. It's our home. It's my music. I play the piano. It's my music room. I mean, our homes have been pushed to the limit. And what's fun for us, as I said earlier, we really have to learn how to juggle and use these spaces. And as we multitask ourselves, we've learned how to multitask our homes and our rooms. So we've had a lot of people call us because they are focused on their homes and they're realizing what they want to fix. They haven't been spending money on trips or maybe as much on clothing or jewelry, sadly. But they want to fix their homes and their yards or their screen porches or their 3-season rooms. So we're busier than ever. It's been great for our industry, and it's challenging us, but we are hopefully all rising to the occasion, and we're going to make our homes the best they can be.
As they should. Let's show our viewers some of the tips you had for them right now.
Well, we all know I love show and tell, and I can listen to Claire talk and educate me and our viewers for hours. So I tend to be sort of old-fashioned, even though I'm a young filly. I I tend to decorate a room and leave it alone, and I don't pay as much as attention to the trends as I wish I did. I really, really wish I could be more modern. Are there trends that we're seeing in this crazy year 2020? What tell us what they are, because I don't know them.
I know. We really have to pay attention to them. Our association and our High Point and our Atlanta Marts and the West Marts like Atlanta, Dallas and Las Vegas, they really are keeping the trends going. The paint companies are putting their forecasts out, and they're not that much different. You know, this year the big color was classic navy, and what we're seeing now is a slight departure from navy. I think navy's just a grounding color, and the last thing we need, given everything this year has been with everything that's happening, the last thing we need is change. So what we're really seeing in a lot of our pictures and forecasts is a lighter version of navy. So I brought this off of my paint deck. Before, at the beginning of the year, we were down here. And now the forecasters and the textile companies are forecasting colors in this range.
So these are Benjamin Moore, and then this part of the deck is 085. And so these are all the pretty, you like all of these colors?
I do, and I'm seeing them in all the textiles that are coming up. We're going to slowly but surely see them in accessories. Art, lamps, rugs, those will all follow. We are also seeing, well, and I wanted to show you this pillow.
Oh.
So this has a little bit of a purple to it, but we're definitely seeing a nice, strong, bright porcelain blue.
And I think this is nice for the houses here in Old Town, because it has a, the old school feeling I told you that I like so much, but it also is more modern.
It is. It's right, and it's just clean. It's just a great neutral color. Even though it is a color, it is a very neutral color. We are still seeing a very strong presence in the taupes. So again, Benjamin Moore, we have Hampshire taupe, Grege, all these colors that are not too cool and not too warm.
It's hateful. It has my ideal weight, 119, 119. So that's where to find these colors. Thanks for pulling that one up, Claire.
I'm telling you what, that's a good goal to have. So here we are sitting on a very neutral sofa, and this speaks to what I said earlier, just about having a neutral sofa where you can layer it and decorate over time during the seasons. So we're looking forward to it. High Point and Atlanta were shut down this spring, and we're excited to go back. It's the show's in 3 weeks, so we're looking forward to bringing things into our store and sharing with our clients what's
Claire's always
what's
staying
happening.
up on things. She doesn't sleep nearly enough, and she doesn't ever. I say, "What have you watched on Netflix?" She says, "Nothing."
No Netflix.
And I mean, because she's keeping
No
up
books.
with the trends and things like that. And so, when we are working in our homes, how can we delineate between the areas? How can we, if we've been working all morning, where we can make it feel like home again, so it's not
Oh,
just
so
this
true.
monotonous.
Well, and with children at home, I know your daughter is at school. I had 3 children home this spring, and I know this resonates with so many of our viewers and our listeners today. We're all in each other's hair. We're all over the place. I have completely lost my dining room. And not that I really used it before, but I look at it every day, and now it's just messy and papers and my son's water bottles everywhere. So what I've really been helping clients with is coming up with spaces that have structure and how we can turn it into a classroom during the day, but then regain our family space or our solace in the afternoon or in the evening or on the weekends. I am a big organizer. One of my many faults is that if I had 10 minutes, that instead of returning phone calls, I'm cleaning and organizing. It gives me clarity and makes me creative. So I have become a basket hound this year. I go to
Hound, basket case.
I go to Michael's and Home Goods and At Home all the time to see what they have. One of the things that we've done with my son, my girls are in college and so they're back at school, but my son has baskets everywhere, and I've really tried to empower him to use these baskets for his organization. So we have books in one and we have notebooks in another. We have a third basket for supplies like the calculator, the phone charger, the clock, so he knows when his classes are going to change, the pencil sharpener, the erasers, things like that. And this way, when he's done, we just, we stack them like this, and we can put it in the corner. And it's pretty. I love baskets. They're a great texture. This is another kind of basket for some of the other things that come into the house that I can't get to, you know, newspapers, catalogs. I keep these kind of at the ready so that when I do have some free time, I know where they all are.
That's a great tip for me because I tend to just put things in junk, you know, but if I could have it in some of these nicer things, that would make me feel a little bit better about,
Yeah.
you know, so there's another good easy tip.
Yes, that's right. And this basket here, oh my gosh, it's deep. It hides a lot of things. It's $70, right? And then
They're
if you
really exquisite.
They're fun. I love the texture. And then, you know, everybody knows a good Pentaflex file in a basket. So instead of the little ones with the flip overs, I like these, and you can get these at Staples or Office Depot. You can get them online, and everything has the tab that you can see, so it's all at the ready. And this works really well for me and for my girls. So we really need to try to respect our space. It's as much as it is design as it is just being respectful and reminding each other that at 5 o'clock it turns back into the dining room, or you know, maybe you keep it that way for the week, but it turns that way on the weekend. So we're being patient with each other, and we're working on it, but it's a challenge.
Well, I thank you so much for showing me all these things. You know, it is kind of like, you know, that we're in fall right now, and it is a little bit like we're Cinderella, and we're working, and we need to, you know, keep things beautiful, keep things elegant. And I think, you know, these are easy tips that we can do. And
affordable tips too, I think.
Yes, definitely.
Good, well, I hope they help. And I should give you my number if anybody has any questions. It's my name, my email is my name, cschwab@claireschwab.com. And you can find me in Google and the internet. So I am happy to answer any questions that you have.
Claire, you gave some great tips that will help us to look like we have all not just been robbed. I mean, now that people are able to peek into our homes on Zoom and things like that, we need you, obviously, more than ever.
Well, so, I love this situation. It actually forced me to clean up all the books in my library and make things look a little less disheveled than they normally do.
Well, I know you're fun. Very organized, and that is one of the many things that I love and admire about you. Now, if somebody wanted to get in touch with you, are you available for hire? Like if I could get you into my home, are you able to? Are we talking 2021? What's the next step?
It's been a very busy year. We definitely are working with a full plate right now, and I would be very interested in talking with people. I'm so grateful. I'm so appreciative for all the business that we've had over the years and helping people, and the repeat business that we've had and the referrals that we've had. And we welcome anyone to call with questions. You know, sometimes we just work for an hour if people just want advice and want some guidance. And then we can be on a retainer type of contract situation where people need us more extensively and have a larger project. So we really work we work a full range, and we're just very happy to have the business. And I think this time of year, there's so many people who are needing work and wanting work, and I count my blessings every day. I count all the wonderful friends I've made through this business, and a lot of times my clients do turn into friends. So it's a wonderful profession.
Well, I know that if people want to find you, they can usually find you during the weekends at the store.
That's right.
And they can always come and shop. You know, we're open almost every day, Claire.
Well, I wanted to take Monday off. I know you keep opening our store on Monday, so that's fine.
More is more.
But I know. We have our space, I guess, through February right now, our pop-up space. So it would be wonderful to meet people on the weekends, and I'll throw my cell phone number out there right now. How does that sound?
All the men are thrilled. Whip it out.
703
615
9495.
9495. I repeat it like my mother did.
703-615-9495.
Wow.
We'd be very happy to talk with you about your project and see if we can help you. We have a wonderful design team in place, and we welcome your questions or comments or anything you can do, and or anything how we can help you rather. And we'd love for you to come to our store. Allison and I have some wonderful things. It changes every week. We are enjoying all the new inventory we're getting, and definitely want to offer what you all are looking for. So,
Well,
we
Claire,
welcome your comments.
Amen, sister. Thank you so much. And I also want to thank our friends that watched tonight, particularly Victoria, and particularly our executive producer, the grande dame of ZTV, Ms. Susan Fleischman. Thank you so
Yay,
much.
Susan.
For Susan, and thank you to Claire, and thank you to all wonderful viewers, and continue to look for more amazing buzzworthy here on ZTV. We appreciate it. That's the buzz.
Allison. Bye, everyone. Thank you for tuning in.
Yes, now go watch the debates. They're not going to be as exciting.
No, they're not.